Hey guys, it's Mount Walk, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about Earthcraft. Um, this is the next card in the building a better legacy thing that I've been working on, and the first one was Frantic Search. This one a little bit better than Frantic Search. Spoiler alert. So I guess we'll just get right into it. Uh, So what do we get? What do we get? Well, when we unban Earthcraft, we get another card. Of course, that card is Squirrel Nest, and it's basically a 2-for-1. Everyone knows 2-for-1s are good, so this is really good. It's 2-for-1 for us, so we get 2 cards for the price of 1. That's pretty sweet. So the combo is get a basic land, put the Squirrel Nest on it, create a squirrel, tap the squirrel to put the token in, tap the squirrel to untap the land, get infinite squirrels. Oh boy, squirrels all over the place. So you do that at their end step, you untap and then swing for a million or something. So that's basically the combo. There are other combos you can do with Earthcraft, like putting it in some elf deck, but this is going to make your glimpses worse. And the elf deck it doesn't need like more redundant copies of its combo cards, which is all that Earthcraft really would be. There's no real space for it. I mean, a lot of times we'll even play like 61 cards, so there's no real reason to, and it's not really going to improve anything. Just going to make your hands a lot worse though, especially against like removal heavy decks. Being stuck with an Earthcraft in play versus like Nettle Sentinel or something like that is not so fun. So, well, now that we have the squirrel nest Earthcraft combo, what are we going to do with it? Who even wants this? And that's basically Enchantress, which is basically a tier 3 deck, I guess. maybe tier 3 is a little nice. Maybe tier 3.5. And this fits very nicely into Enchantress. I played Enchantress before, played a ton of different win conditions, like Emrakul or any of the Words of War or any of that stuff. And it's just, they all have their own limitations or sometimes require additional colors, which can be really frustrating. Not super good. So, um, yeah, this is certainly the best because it's on color, it's green. And both sides of the cards do something on their own. Squirrel Nest can act like as a force field, and Earthcraft is pretty good with our Gothian Enchantress to produce extra mana, because you can untap the lands with all the wild growths and stuff on there. Nothing too really wonky about the numbers here. Some stuff like Solitary Confinement only one of, because we're looking more to just stall for a little bit, then combo kill. Don't really need to lock them out. But one's still 2 to 4, maybe some of the board. Let's see here. A couple replenish, just because we really want to get back our, if they decay or counter our Squirrel Nest or Earthcraft or something. Definitely want that back. And the Ground Seal, because Ground Seal obviously works to protect your cards from surgical extraction, that kind of stuff, which is probably one of the most common graveyard hate spells. And it's just good against like a lot of the mid-rangey decks with like Deathrite or whatever and Snapcaster and stuff. So you get a lot of value there. I could even see maybe playing another one, at least another on the board. Seal of Cleansing, just tutorable, enchantment, artifact hate, Journey to Nowhere, because it deals with Leovold for about as cheap as you can really get for 2 mana. And you need to deal with Leovold because he shuts down the whole draw engine of the deck. All of your wild growth effects. Song of the Dryad is another, like, it'll answer like planeswalkers and stuff like that, which you can be a little bit vulnerable to because you don't really have like a super fast clock. The deck's still pretty dirtly, even with the Squirrel Nest Earthcraft thing. The 3-1 split on like Sterling Grove and Enlightened Tutor is mostly because I kind of like just having more enchantments. Obviously, better synergy with Replenish. Obviously, it protects your other enchantments. And although Enlightened Tutor is good too, because it can fetch like Silver Bullets, like a Crypt, Tormod's Crypt, or out of the board or something like that. Or even something like, rest in peace if you want to board that in, or whatever, different artifacts and stuff, maybe a bridge, who knows. But so there is that. So 3-1, 2-2. But yeah, nothing here is really weird. Again, kind of a typical Enchantress list. Nothing that out of the ordinary. So I goldfished it a bunch, and like I said, I've had previous experience with this deck, and I feel like the squirrel nest Earthcraft combo really did make it feel a lot better, felt a lot smoother. It definitely felt like a deck that actually had a play instead of like kind of dirtling or whatever. Like sometimes you just draw into these cards or just draw them naturally or whatever, and then just kill them or whatever instead of like having to set up these weird like words of wind or whatever kind of locks and stuff. Just too much pain, too much brain power required. I can't do that. I'm dumb. I want a million squirrels, and that's what I need. And so yeah, both parts are good in their own. So that's great. Uh, it speeds the deck up, which is pretty good. Because like I said, it's pretty dirty. And so you don't have to deal with like, go into time or whatever, and you can pressure people even a little bit. Because obviously the threat of you comboing out is, somewhere in the mid game, like pretty, you always tutor for the cards or whatever. So, but it doesn't speed the deck up enough to really alleviate its worst matchups, which would be basically any of the combo decks, any of the super fast decks like Storm, um, Black Red Reanimator, anything like that, Belcher, stuff like that's pretty tough because you don't really have good access to your hate cards and you're a little slow in deploying stuff. So I'm not sure if like it's worth boarding a ton for those or even boarding at all. I mean, I could see a strategy of playing like a Green Sun Zenith or two in the main deck to get your Gaddock Teague in the board and maybe some other hate cards, maybe something like Ley Lines for turn 0 interaction, maybe something like Surgical Extraction, although obviously the anti-synergy with Ground Seal, but it is good. And so that's sort of the reason why I'm just focusing, like having stuff like Ground Seal and Choke in the main deck is to really to beat up on those blue decks that make up a huge part of Legacy. Being beat up on those pretty much all consistently all the time is good. It's good. It's better strategy if you can't really trying to be a jack of all trades might not be the best plan. Might be better just to try and beat everything else. Maybe board a few cards for combo, but obviously try not to focus too much on it. So okay, it was really fun actually. I liked Enchantress, but and just the combo itself is a lot makes the deck a lot more fun. I like just the idea is fun, like an army of squirrels, hence the name of the that old vintage deck, Army of Squirrels. Um, and so I like that. It's definitely a more fun version of Enchantress. Maybe it's my own personal bias. I guess that's sort of subjective. What is fun? I think a million squirrels, each with holding a little eyeball, is fun. I guess. Um, it's fun, but I mean the card is pretty innocuous. Like it doesn't really do anything. I mean that we can't already do. Like we already have two card combos. I mean obviously show and tell, sneak attack, all that kind of stuff. So no one's really scared of like two card combos unless you're like assembling them with Necropotence, in which case that's that's a little bit of a different situation. Um, I guess you could almost say maybe, I guess this is an aside, I guess you could almost say Flash is a two card combo, but I think that's a little bit of a different situation. Um, anyways, it's there's a lot of cards that are even unbanned that are like just so much more powerful or just better, like cards that it just takes too much to get Earthcraft to do anything. And it's probably unlikely they'll ever be able to. I mean, Earthcraft Squirrel Nest is probably as good as it's ever gonna get. I don't really foresee them printing another card or creature or whatever because you're already removal proof playing Squirrel Nest Earthcraft because you put your thing on your basic land, so they can't wasteland the thing, and then like bolts and plows and stuff don't do anything, so they couldn't really exactly print another creature that really interacted with it very well. They'd have to print something else, maybe some sort of something very similar to Squirrel's Nest, but so that's very unlikely too. So and there's just not really any metric you can use that anyone is scared of this card. It's only on the ban list due to inertia. I mean, it's a little silly that it's there still, but I guess that's sort of the problem. Brings me to my next point is that it is a reserve list card. I think I got mine for like 30 or 40 or something, which is pretty good, I guess. Um, I mean, the price will go up probably a lot when I guess it will be unbanned, because I mean it's only a matter of time, I think, at least in regards to that. Um, so it'll spike, but it'll probably eventually end up dropping down because I mean it's a good card, but it only sees like some play in Commander, um, and then it would only see play in tier 3.5 Legacy decks, right? Basically Enchantress or some other weird brew that people want to use, and go for it. I mean, no one's scared of these weird, like, oh my gosh, I got this weird card and I can do it. Yeah, like no one, whatever. Legacy decks are so fast and efficient and so disruptive. I mean, I guess they've really been that way for a very long time, that it's like you can't really durdle around and try and do these cute things. Like, they're extremely good at really punishing like combo decks and things like that. Especially since they can, have access to pretty much any card ever printed, and they have access to it from their deck from, the brainstorms, ponders, and stuff. Like, it's tough to really break the format. You need something really powerful, like Flash, for example. Um, Anything with less than that is just not really gonna cut it. It's not a good time to be a combo deck, but Enchantress isn't exactly a combo deck, but you get the point. So yeah, it's you know I'm not really scared of it. So that's kind of, I mean, yeah, that's really all there is to it. So but it's a fun card. I like it a lot. It's one of the ones I had a lot more fun playtesting with, because it is just a silly card. Like, I just like the idea of playing with a lot of squirrels, I have a bunch of squirrel tokens or whatever from like Conspiracy. Or no, maybe I have some from original Odyssey set. I can't remember, but if I did, that would be sweet, because oh boy, oh, so cool. Um, and it's just silly. Who doesn't want to kill their opponent with a bunch of squirrels? Um, but yeah, I mean, it's basically the perfect card to invade, because A, it's not gonna do anything. I mean, nothing really bad. Not gonna break the format. And it powers up an existing deck. So it's pretty narrow in scope. There's not really a ton of ways to break Earthcraft, and they're all like, 2+ card combos or whatever. So that's whatever. And 3 squirrels, or was that 4? 3, 4? I don't know. Squirrels. That's all of the reasons. So, but yeah, that's basically it, guys. So hopefully, maybe tomorrow. I'm recording this Sunday night, so hopefully tomorrow we'll see, on the 2nd of July. We'll see, maybe something will come off. Probably not. Don't ever, never bet that they'll ever take anything off, because they won't. So, but that's basically it, guys. So thanks for tuning in, and have a great day.